The question is, how can two men consummate a marriage? I'm going to repeat that. How can two men consummate a marriage? Now, the homosexual agenda, I call it the homosexual agenda, simply because, I'm from the old school. You know, the word gay really is a lie. They're not gay. They're homosexual. I can use another word for it, sexual perverts, to be honest. But they're homosexuals and lesbians. The word gay means happy. And they are not happy. But how can two men consummate a marriage? Anyway, what is a marriage anyway? Actually, the simple definition of a marriage is a union between a male and a female. It is. Marriage is not two people that love one another. It's not. That's not marriage. A marriage is a union between a man and a woman. And it has been that way from the beginning of time, from Adam and Eve to Sister Glover and Brother Glover, and all males and females out there. Because where did you come from? That's right, where did you come from? You didn't come from two men. You didn't come from two women. You, whoever you are that's listening to this video, you came from a man and a woman. That's the only way to get here. The only way. You didn't come from two men who just love one another, or two women who just love one another. Yeah, right. The question is, how can two men consummate a marriage? And I'm dealing with the man side because I'm a man. You know, I can say, how can two women consummate a marriage? But I'm just being a male. I'm dealing with this from the male standpoint. My wife and I got married in July of '83. That's the day we got married. After the marriage ceremony, we had the reception. After the reception, we went out to eat. And after we went out to eat, we went to a hotel, relaxed a little bit later, and consummated our marriage. Every husband and wife does that. It's just normal. Then after we consummated our marriage on that wedding day, we kept on mating, as the years went by, and produced two children. First a daughter and then a son. Marriage. See, but yet the homosexuals and lesbians have worked hard to fool people into thinking that it's just two. Marriage is not only just between a male and a female, it's also between two people who love one another. Because see, they are sexually oriented that way. No, they're not. They are in lust that way. It's called L-U-S-T, lust. It's called an easy orgasm. And that's another story. It is, people. I can break it down. I really can. But a lot of stuff I even talk about, I can go into a lot of detail about those things that I've mentioned. This video would be 5 hours long if I went into detail. See, they want you to believe that two men or two women is the modern family. I never watched that I never watched that show. Because when I looked at the previews, I didn't notice homosexual per se. The label let me know that it was going to be some homosexuals, men who are acting homosexuals, or women who are acting like lesbians in that show. I didn't have to watch it to know how the homosexuals and lesbians was brainwashing society into accepting their abnormality. I never watched it because I knew it was simply homosexual and lesbian propaganda. And the next show that they are coming up with this fall, the new normal. The new normal. It's not normal, it's a perversion. The new normal. Two men loving one another, or two women loving one another. That's not normal. It's the new abnormal. Now, why are you saying that, brother? It's relatively simple. Where did homosexuals and lesbians come from anyway? They came from a mother and a father, just like everybody else came from a mother and a father. He wasn't born homosexual. She wasn't born a lesbian. They were converted into this perversion. I've been around males that was converted to homosexuality ever since I can remember. Many of them died young. Everybody came from a mother and a father. Everybody came from a male and a female. Not one human being on this planet came from two men. Not one human being on this planet came from two women. That's not possible. Adam. Genesis 2:22, and the rib which the Lord God had taken from man, made he a woman, and brought her unto the man. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bone, and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they shall be one flesh. Adam didn't have no mother and father. But Adam had the wisdom of God within him, the knowledge of God within him. And that pattern has been from time immemorial. A man leaving his mother and his father and cleaving to his wife. And Jesus Christ reaffirms that in Matthew. I think it's in Matthew 19 chapter. Jesus Christ said the same identical thing that Adam said. Matthew 19:4. And he answered and said unto them, this is Jesus talking, have you not read that he who made them at the beginning made them male and female? And said, for this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they two shall be one flesh. Can you imagine if God had created Adam, then he created Steve, and just left them? I don't know which one would have died first, but it was just Adam and Steve. It wouldn't be nobody on this planet except for them two. Adam might die first, and Steve would be lonely, waiting for God to create somebody else so he could be with him. until he died, or vice versa. That is just plain stupid. But the issue is this. How can two men consummate a marriage? How is that possible? Two men with the same sexual organs are going to consummate a marriage. Ask any homosexual that question, or lesbian that question. They won't give you an answer, direct answer. And the reason is because they know they can't. I've asked homosexuals and lesbians question. And what they do, they talk about other stuff. They'll tap dance around that like you wouldn't believe. I even told one homosexual. He wrote me angry because of my statements. And I said, let me ask you a question. I know you're not going to give me a direct answer. I even told him. I said, how can two men consummate a marriage? The stuff he wrote back was so stupid. He wrote back about crippled women who get married women who can't have feelings down below. I mean, I didn't ask him about that. I said, how can two men consummate a marriage? They can't. Well, it's not about sex. What? In other words, they'll say anything. They would say anything then. Label me a hater or a homophobe. I am a hater. I am. I'm a hater of evil. And the word homophobic is a lie anyway. That's right, the word homophobia is a lie. Want to know what phobias are really all about? All you got to do is watch these Murray shows. That's a true phobia, people. But homosexuals and lesbians just throw words out, hoping you stupid enough to believe what they say. Words that don't even have any substance to them. Sayings that don't even have any logical substance to them. Plain and simple. Not only that, they can't answer that question. They also insult their parents. And one of the main things that homosexuals and lesbians do regarding this concept of marriage is that, I almost forgot about the children. They adopting children to try to make you think that what they're doing is normal. See, that's a normal family. Two men and those adopted children. All you got are two sexual perverts and adopted girls and adopted boys. Two female sexual perverts with adopted children, adopted girls and adopted boys. Not only that, what homosexuals and lesbians really do, like I said, they insult their parents, and that's another whole subject, people. But one of the main things they do, they stop their family history. That's right, they stop their family history. Their family history ceases to exist. They're so in love with lust of the same sex that their genealogy ceases to exist if they stay in that perversion. Matthew 1. The book of the genealogy of Jesus Christ. King James Version said the generations of Jesus Christ, but it's actually the genealogy of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Abraham begat Isaac. Isaac begat Jacob. Jacob begat Judah. Judah and his brethren, and Judah begat Perez, and Zerah of Tamar, and Perez begat Hezron, and Hezron begat Ram, and we just go on and on and on. I'm going to skip to verse 16. And Jacob begat Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Jesus, who was the Christ. I skipped a lot of his history here. Because, see, I have genealogy. My mother, Emily Brown, married my father, Enoch Glover. And her mother, Fannie Mae Brown. And her mother, I don't know, because He had already passed away. Then her mother and father, and back and back and back, and all the way back to Adam and Eve. But when two men get together and tell you that they love one another, two women love one another, and it's just a modern family. It's just the new normal. No, it's not. It's the abnormal. They stop their genealogy. They stop their family tree. Their family tree ceases to exist with them. Two men can't make no babies. Two women can't make no babies. Their family tree stops right there. And they don't care. All they care about is that easy orgasm. And that's another story too I can talk about. I can go into detail about that too. Their family tree ceases to exist. Because they are so full of lust, perverted lust, they don't care about their mother, their father. That's right, they don't care about their mother, father, dad, mom. I'm gay. And God made me that way. No, God didn't. 1 Corinthians 6 chapter verse 18. Flee fornication, every sin that man doeth is outside the body, but he that committeth fornication sinneth against his own body. And 1 Corinthians 7:2 says, nevertheless to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. That's how we got here. Every human being on this earth got here through a male and a female. We didn't get here by two men loving one another. We didn't get here by two women loving one another. See? They hate God. They hate nature. They disrespect their parents. And they hate truth because they are full of lust. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and every woman have her own husband. God bless.